In this video, we'll be taking a look at 4 college football games happening on October 18, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 8 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 4 college football games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start: if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Texas A&M versus Arkansas. The Texas A&M Aggies and the Arkansas Razorbacks will square off Saturday in college football action at Razorback Stadium. Arkansas enters this matchup in need of answers after dropping 4 straight games following a 2-0 start. The Razorbacks have struggled on both sides of the ball, particularly on defense, where breakdowns have become a recurring issue. Texas A&M, meanwhile, comes in unbeaten, having handled every challenge so far this season. The Aggies have already proven they can win away from home and have outscored opponents by an average of 14.4 points per game. Texas A&M brings a balanced, disciplined approach that tends to expose teams with defensive weaknesses. That description fits Arkansas at the moment. The Razorbacks' inability to contain opponents has been costly, and it shows up in the numbers. They've failed to cover the spread in 6 of their last 9 games and have lost by an average of 17.3 points in the 3 games this season where they've been underdogs. Quarterback Talon Green gives Arkansas a chance to compete when he's in rhythm, but even with his athleticism and upside, it's difficult to trust the Razorbacks' defense to keep them close against an opponent as complete as Texas A&M. The Aggies' consistency, both offensively and defensively, makes them the stronger side in nearly every matchup category. As our first pick for this matchup, the Texas A&M Aggies to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The total for this game sits high, which stands out considering how well the Aggies' defense has performed. This unit has been dominant, holding 4 of its last 5 opponents to 22 points or fewer. Recent results highlight that strength. Mississippi State managed just 10 points, while Florida scored only 17 in last week's loss. Arkansas has already struggled against quality defenses, scoring only 13 points against Notre Dame 2 weeks ago. Texas A&M's defense is even more formidable. Arkansas's offensive pace also limits scoring potential. The Razorbacks rank 65th nationally in plays per game, a pace that doesn't favor a shootout. Texas A&M, for its part, runs the ball on 56% of its plays and tends to sustain long drives, further reducing overall possessions. Historically, this setup has led to low totals. The under has hit in 4 of Arkansas's last 5 October contests. With both teams leaning toward ball control and defense, another low-scoring outcome appears likely. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Texas Tech versus Arizona State. One of the biggest matchups of the Big 12 season unfolds in the desert this week as the Texas Tech Red Raiders take on the Arizona State Sun Devils. Texas Tech enters at 6-0, continuing its climb up the national rankings and proving that its strong start is no fluke. Arizona State, last year's conference champion, finds itself in a precarious position. With one conference loss already on the books, another setback here would make it difficult to stay in the title race. The major storyline in this game centers on injuries, particularly at quarterback, which adds an extra layer of uncertainty to how this contest might play out. It appears that Sam Leavitt will return for Arizona State after sitting out last week's loss to Utah, a game in which the Sun Devils were thoroughly outplayed. His presence will help, but this year's Arizona State team doesn't have the same identity or balance as last year's. In recent weeks, the Sun Devils barely escaped TCU and Baylor, and Texas Tech presents a far tougher test. Too much of Arizona State's offense has revolved around feeding star wideout Jordan Tyson, and defenses have started to adjust to that tendency. On the Texas Tech side, quarterback Baron Morton remains questionable, though signs point toward him being more doubtful than probable. Even so, the Red Raiders are built to handle that scenario better than Arizona State. Their depth, especially at key offensive positions, allows them to stay competitive regardless of who's under center. Arizona State's defense has been stout against the run, but their pass defense continues continues to show cracks, compounded by injuries in the secondary. That's a dangerous mix against a Texas Tech offense that can stretch the field and capitalize on mismatches. From a matchup standpoint, this is where Texas Tech's overall balance should take control. The Red Raiders have the pieces to separate late and finish the job. Winning by more than a touchdown will take composure, but this is a good opportunity for Texas Tech to prove its depth and maturity. Meanwhile, the early wave of betting support has leaned toward Arizona State, a signal that often warrants caution. As our first pick for this matchup, the Texas Tech Red Raiders to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Texas Tech games have leaned toward lower totals this season despite the team's elite scoring production. The Red Raiders rank second nationally in scoring offense, yet 3 of their 6 contests have stayed under the posted number. Texas Tech has scored at least 34 points in every outing and topped 40 points 4 times, displaying consistent offensive output regardless of opponent. Arizona State will have a hard time keeping this offense in check. If the Sun Devils can generate even modest offensive production of their own, that should be enough to push the total beyond the line. With both teams capable of moving the ball and Texas Tech maintaining its scoring rhythm, the setup points to a high-scoring outcome. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Oregon versus Rutgers. The Oregon Ducks and Rutgers Scarlet Knights will face off Saturday in college football action at Shai Stadium. Oregon comes into this matchup as the stronger team in nearly every area. The Ducks have more depth, more speed, and more proven talent on both sides of the ball. They'll also be eager to respond after dropping a tough game to Indiana, which should make this a focused and motivated performance. Rutgers, meanwhile, finds itself in a difficult position. The Scarlet Knights have lost 3 straight games and continue to struggle defensively. The numbers tell the story. Rutgers is 2-10-3 against the spread in its last 15 games when listed as a double-digit underdog, a trend that reflects its inability to stay competitive against top-tier programs. Oregon, on the other hand, has covered 7 of its last 10 as a double-digit favorite, often pulling away comfortably once its offense settles in. Given that Iowa, Minnesota, and Washington have all had success scoring against Rutgers, Oregon's offensive firepower could turn this game one-sided early. The gap in overall quality is wide, and the matchup leans heavily toward the Ducks. As our first pick for this matchup, the Oregon Ducks to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. This contest sets up to deliver plenty of offense from both sides. Oregon's offense has been among the nation's best, ranking 9th in scoring, 23rd in total yards per game, and inside the top 8 in both net points per drive and points per quality drive. Quarterback Dante Moore continues to showcase his big play ability, while Rutgers quarterback Athan Kaliakmanis has shown he can push the ball downfield, ranking 6th nationally in passing yards per game. Rutgers remains one of the more puzzling teams in college football this season. Offensively, the Scarlet Knights are capable of keeping up with anyone. They rank 20th in points per quality drive and 32nd in points per game, supported by one of the most efficient offensive drive rates in the Football Bowl subdivision. Defensively, however, the picture is bleak. Rutgers ranks 123rd in defensive success rate and 116th in defensive expected points added margin, and has allowed 30 or more points in every matchup against Football Bowl subdivision opponents this year. The contrast is stark. Rutgers can move the ball but can't stop anyone. Oregon's balanced attack should find open lanes through the air and on the ground, while Rutgers has enough offensive firepower to contribute to the scoreboard. The setup points toward an up-tempo, high-scoring matchup from start to finish. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Texas versus Kentucky. Saturday night's Southeastern Conference slate brings a matchup in Lexington between the Texas Longhorns and the Kentucky Wildcats. Texas enters at 4-2 after a solid win over Oklahoma last week, and with a demanding conference stretch still ahead, the Longhorns cannot afford a slip-up in a game like this. Kentucky, sitting at 0-3 in Southeastern Conference play, faces a steep uphill climb. The Wildcats are likely to remain underdogs in most of their remaining conference games, and their performances to this point suggest they could be headed for the bottom of the league standings. The key difference in this matchup lies in quality and consistency. Texas has the talent and balance to dictate tempo, control possession, and handle this game from start to finish. Kentucky, on the other hand, continues to struggle on both sides of the ball and hasn't shown the ability to keep pace against top competition. It's understandable if skepticism around Arch Manning colors expectations for the Longhorns, but this game provides an ideal opportunity for him to take advantage of a weak weak defensive unit. Kentucky ranks 111th nationally in passing yards allowed, an alarming number for any Southeastern Conference defense. Manning should find plenty of openings against this secondary. For Kentucky to keep things competitive, the game plan is clear. Run the football, shorten the clock, and try to limit Texas's offensive possessions. Unfortunately, that approach runs straight into a mismatch. Texas owns the fourth best rushing defense in the nation, making it difficult for the Wildcats to establish anything on the ground. With their inability to move the ball effectively through the air, it's hard to find a favorable angle for Kentucky. This matchup tilts sharply toward Texas on both sides of the ball. As our first pick for this matchup, the Texas Longhorns to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. This contest projects as a defensive struggle rather than an offensive showcase. Kentucky has had difficulty scoring all season and now faces a Texas defense that just held Oklahoma to 6 points. While the Longhorns have shown some inconsistency away from home, their defensive front remains dominant, and their tackling discipline should limit Kentucky's scoring chances. Texas's offense may not need to press, as the defense can control the game's rhythm. The Wildcats' limited passing threat and Texas's strong defensive play suggest a slower tempo with long, grinding drives and few explosive plays. The result should be a low-scoring, physical matchup where defense dictates the outcome. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.